Hey everyone. So today we're going to jump into a short but really powerful story called The Hardworking Monkey. Now, it might seem like a simple tale on the surface, but trust me, it packs a punch and asks some pretty big questions.
And right away, we're hit with this huge question. Can an animal actually fight for its own rights? This idea is really the heart of the whole story, so let's keep that in the back of our minds as we see how this all unfolds. All right, let's get into it. Our story kicks off on this super busy construction site where we meet Motu. And let me tell you, Motu is a worker who is truly one of a kind. There are three main characters we really need to get to know. First up, we have Raju, who is the monkey's owner. And for him, this animal isn't so much a partner as he is, well, a prized asset, a source of income that Raju is pretty proud to show off. And then, of course, there's our hero, Motu. As you can guess from the title, he is an absolutely tireless worker. The kind of worker who honestly puts all the humans on the site to shame. And kind of overseeing the whole operation is the site contractor. The minute this guy sees Motu working, he knows he's looking at something pretty extraordinary. I mean, the contractor just comes right out and says it. Wow, this monkey is working harder than the humans. So right off the bat, we know Motu isn't just pulling his weight, he's setting the pace for absolutely everyone. But, there's a dark side to that kind of work ethic, especially when you're not the one calling the shots. And this is where things start to get complicated, which brings us to our next section, a tool, not a being. This is where we have to ask ourselves, what's the difference between a worker and just an object? Okay, so picture this. It's the middle of the afternoon, the sun is just blazing, and all the human laborers are taking a much-needed break. Makes sense, right? Well, there's one worker who isn't resting. Yep, it's Motu. So Motu, who is just completely wiped out at this point, tries to signal to Raju, like, hey, I need a minute. But Raju, he's not having any of it. He basically tells him, rest later, finish the work now. For him, the job is way more important than the one doing it. And this right here, this is the core of the whole conflict. You have another worker on the site who looks over and says what seems obvious. A monkey is also an animal, it needs rest. But Raju's view, it couldn't be more different. He just says, this is just my tool for work. In his mind, Motu isn't a living being, he's just a thing. Well, you can only push someone or something so far before they push back. Motu is pushed to his limit and he does something nobody saw coming. And that brings us to Section 3, Motu's protest. Now this is the incredible part. Motu can't use words, so what does he do? He just stops, puts everything down. Then, he sits down in this powerful, quiet act of defiance. And finally, he makes a gesture that is impossible to misunderstand. First food, then work. It's basically a strike for his most basic right, and it is absolutely brilliant. The contractor, who's been watching this whole thing go down, turns to Raju and just lays out the truth. He says, see, Raju, even this monkey knows its rights. I mean, think about that. The animal in this situation has a clearer sense of justice than his own master. And that one single act of defiance, that silent protest, well, it changes everything. It's the turning point that leads us straight into our final section, the lesson of respect. So, faced with Motu's protest and the contractor's words, Raju is just humbled. He looks at Motu, and for the first time, he doesn't see a tool or a machine. He sees a living being that he has seriously wronged. And his apology is a genuine moment of transformation. And it's not just an empty, I'm sorry either. Raju makes a new promise right then and there. He says, from now on, things are going to be different. Work is going to come with rest, and it's going to come with respect. Their entire relationship just got a complete reset. So, what's the big takeaway here? It all boils down to this incredibly simple but powerful moral that everyone on that construction site learned that day. And it's this: every being that works deserves respect, rest, and rights. Period. And that brings us to the final thought I want to leave you with. This isn't just a story about a monkey on a construction site, is it? It forces us to look around our own world and ask, what other tools are out there that really deserve to be seen and treated as the living beings they actually are? It's a heavy question for sure, but a really important one.